Welcome back, listeners, to a brand new episode of the New Standard. We're going on live on this Saturday, and we're hopping on just a little bit early. Want to thank everybody who's joined us for the program. We are going on live August 10th, 2024. We got some football. And, just as a scheduling update for all of you, we will do live post game shows. Wanted to do this one a little bit later because I wanted to actually watch and dig into the game a little bit. Didn't want to jump so much into the comments and give you some misleading comments based on just a very quick cursory watch. But during the season, we will be jumping on, maybe about 30 to 45 minutes after the game and giving you a post game. As always, if you want to participate in the program, hit me with the like and subscribe. Again, you're listening to the New Standard, and this is the Steelers versus Texans preseason post game breakdown. We'll also be putting the show back up on pod. We'll be getting more pods out. Again, want to thank everybody who's hopped on the program. And, it's exciting. There was a question. And before I jump into the game, let me just say this. But before I jump into my thoughts on the game, let me just say this. Ayuk or get off the pot? What's up, Mr. Tummy? Ayuk or get off the pot? Of course, the saying is shit or get off the pot. Look, man, I'm tired of hearing about Brandon Ayuk. I think he's a great player. Number one target, a guy that you could spam targets to, a guy that runs routes all over the field, doesn't have the best physical traits, but his polish and his game to me make him a number one type wide receiver. Doesn't scare you physically, though. That's the difference between him and some of the guys like Justin Jefferson and Tyreek Hill. But in terms of being a polished route runner and a polished offensive player and a guy that I think could really open up the Steelers' offense, he's that. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So we got to Ayuk or get off the pot. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, for a person like me that's a content creator that talks about the Steelers, it's a good thing. It's content. But shit, man, like either it's going to happen or it ain't going to happen. And right now, it's looking like it ain't going to happen. Hell, go after CeeDee Lamb. I don't care, man. You're going to have to pay one of these guys, whatever, whoever, if you're trying to get a number one type guy, a guy that you could throw a lot of targets to and get a ton of production, it's going to cost players, it's going to cost money. That's what it is. But let me shift back into the preseason. And they asked, Bob Pompiani on the broadcast asked a question. What does preseason mean for you? And I want to pose that question to everybody's out there that's listening live. What does preseason football mean to you? And I took a step back. I was looking at Twitter, X, and Instagram, and there were a lot of, I think, really moving photos that the Steelers put up. They put up quite a few photos of women and children and men and people who had fought the fight against cancer and won. And they were at the game. They were enjoying Steeler football. They also posted a lot of pictures of kids and different people who were making their first visit to Acrisure. I have to whisper Acrisure. But we're going to keep it Heinz Field here. We're going to keep it Heinz Field here. And we're going to jump into your comments. I'm laughing at Robert's comment. But the word I thought about when I was listening and about preseason football was renewal, more chances, victory, renaissance. I was thinking of those type of words when I was thinking about those images that I saw and just seeing the blades of grass, football back. I was thinking of just refreshness, renewal. Yeah, I made that word up, refreshness. I did. It's fine. But that's how we do on this show. Because I'm from Manchester. I'm from the 15233. So we make up stuff. And see, I got my Manchester shirt. If you could see it in the background, yes, I am from Manchester wearing my Manchester shirt. And if you're from Pittsburgh, you know what Manchester is. You know where I am. You know where I'm from. For the North Side, baby. And so I think it's about renewal. And let me jump into this comment here. Uh, and we're going to jump into this comment from Mr. Tummy. And I think Mr. Tummy is right from a football perspective. But I just was thinking about it from more of a holistic, more of a bigger perspective. And preseason means evaluating talent and preparing for the cut list. And I think he's absolutely right. And preseason is about dotting the I's and crossing your T's and getting on page, seeing what you got, seeing how you best utilize it, figuring out how to work with your coaching staff, how Mike Tomlin's going to work with Arthur Smith, and how Mike Tomlin's going to work with Tara Austin, things that they want to improve, communication, all types of stuff. Mr. Tummy's also right when he jumped in with another comment as well, when he said, from a larger perspective, football is back. That's what it means. It's back. Renewal. Another opportunity to be great. Another opportunity to chase the Lombardi. It's back. And we should not take it for granted. We came through a very dark period with COVID. And so where there were some questions, would you have football? Would you have sports? So it's renewal. Football is back. Again, listeners, you're checking out to the new standard. You're checking out the program Steelers versus Texans preseason post-game breakdown with yours truly, Lance Williams. And please give us a like and subscribe. And I'm laughing at Robert's comments. He said it used to mean Neil and Lance on the new standard. Neil is coming back. Neil is coming back, but we're saving Neil. It's only the preseason. We're saving Neil, and but right now it's going to be me, and hopefully, Robert, you don't have any objections that it's just me. I'm a brother from Manchester, my pretty clear skin, my face. Hopefully, you just like me doing the show for right now. But I'm going to try to get Neil on to at least do predictions. So I at least have his predictions. But let's jump to the game. My overall thoughts on the game, and I wrote it on X a little bit after the game, about the first half, I should say, is that I thought the game overall was uglier than Charles Barkley's golf swing. And I'm not dismayed by that. It's preseason football. It's the first preseason game. A lot of starters aren't playing, a lot of adrenaline, first time back under the lights, new offense, a lot of moving pieces on the offensive line, some different secondary pieces. And so I wasn't dismayed by it. And I think an example of the fact that the game was uglier than Charles Barkley's golf swing. I mean, you get multiple fumbles in the first series. Now, let me just say this. On X, there was a lot of conversation going back and forth as to whose fault it was. Was it the center? Was it Justin Fields? Was it Sheebig, Nick Herbig? It doesn't matter. Overall, if you turn over the football, regardless of whose fault it is, you turn the football over. And so luckily, those turnovers or those almost turnovers, the bad center quarterback exchanges did not lead to turnovers and did not cost them. It was just an example of why this game was, again, uglier than Charles Barkley's golf swing. Very sloppy. But let's shift into the things that I was looking for in this game. If you listened to the show previous to this, and let me jump into the comments from Jeremiah Yoder. What's up, Jay? JY. He said preseason is just that, preseason. Now is the time to find out who is a Steeler and who is not. And he's absolutely right. Who's going to show up in stadiums, as Mike Tomlin likes to say. We were going to look at a couple of things. And if you listen to the previous show, we highlighted some things that we wanted to look at for this game. One of those was, and give me the thumbs up if I get the pronunciation right. I was talking to Neil today, and he's coached me through the pronunciation of the last name of Big Troy. Troy Fautanu. Please give me the thumbs up or thumbs down if I got it right. Big Troy Fautanu, first round draft pick from the Washington Huskies out of the former Pac 12. And one of the things we were looking for was pass protection. How was he going to adjust and how was he going to pass protect? And it was sloppy. He gave up some pressures, gave up some sacks. He looked like he was nervous to me. He looked like the moment was pretty big and that maybe he was a little excited. I would love to get Coach Hatcher's opinion. And Coach Hatcher, if you're listening to the program or if you hear it later, please detail for us. And Coach Hatcher is a longtime listener of the program, offensive line coach for a very successful high school program. Give me your thoughts, Coach, if you're listening to this program, on what you saw from Fautanu in pass protection. And let me say that again. Not foul to know, foul to new. Please give me the thumbs up. Foul to new. Am I getting it right? Am I getting the pronunciation right? Please give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. But I thought he was very inconsistent in pass pro. And I'm gonna toss this to Coach Hatcher. And I'm gonna toss this to other people that are more knowledgeable about offensive line play than me. That what did they see in terms of him in pass protection? Want to shift to Zach Frazier. We wanted to take a look at, if Zach Frazier was that physical specimen, that road grader that everybody talked about. And I was very impressed by Zach Frazier. I think you combine the exchange issues between Nate Herbig and the quarterback Justin Fields. And I think you combine that with the fact that Zach Frazier looked really good. I think Zach Frazier's your day one starter at center. I think that competition is over because the one thing you can't do is you can't have bad center quarterback exchanges, and you can't have two. You've got to protect the football. And if that's the only reason why Zach Frazier starts, it's a big enough and an important enough reason for him to be the starter. Here were some notes that I wrote down when I looked at Zach Frazier. Road grader, powerful on double teams, showed the ability to climb to the second level, and was able to make clean exchanges. He looked comfortable, looked really solid in pass pro, looked very physical, was not getting overwhelmed when he had a hat on him. I thought he played very well. Jeremy is trying to help me out with the pronunciation. And he said this team has certain players who had some amazing names, such as Troy Polamalu, Chris Faumatufala, and he said he thinks it's Troy Fautanu. I think it's Fautanu. Fautanu. That's what I think it is. But for now, we're going to go with Big Troy. We're going to go with Big T, Big Troy. So I thought Zach Frazier overall played a really good game. There was a nice play. If you want to take a look at the play or some of the things, a play that illustrates the points that I'm talking about, there was a red zone play where he was able to make the double team block with the guard, climb the second level, and get a nice seal block on an inside linebacker at the goal line to give space for the running back to score. I think the Steelers got one in Zach Frazier, and I think he's going to be the day one starter and going to be the Steelers starter at center for years to come, barring injuries. Peyton Wilson and McCormick, we wanted to look at their athleticism. We wanted to see if that athleticism showed up in stadiums, and I think it did. Was really impressed with Wilson. For them to put Wilson on a wide receiver on a shallow cross in his first preseason game in coverage, come on, man, that just shows you what they think about his athleticism. Played a ton of snaps. I thought he was very active, very physical, got beat on some stuff, but that's to be expected in your first preseason game. I was really impressed with Peyton Wilson, and I think he's going to be a player. I think he's going to be a guy that we're going to see make a significant contribution this year. And I think he's a guy that might be their inside linebacker of the future. He might be that guy to replace Shazier. Now, that might be a little hyperbolic. It is the first game. You do want to see some more of him play football, but he showed the athletic flashes that his RAS score illustrated, which was in the high nines. I think it was a 9.86, I believe, which was one of the highest RAS, real athletic score, meaning he was one of the most athletic inside linebackers in this draft class. I thought McCormick showed a lot of power, a lot of explosion in short areas, and he was a little nasty too. Was playing behind the whistle. And his athleticism in terms of RAS score was even higher than Peyton Wilson's. His RAS score was like 996. I think he was the second most athletic guard in the draft class, according to RAS. So, and I think he flashed. So overall, I think the rookies look pretty good on the offensive line. Faltanu has to clean up some stuff in pass protection. Again, I want to see what Coach Hatcher has to say about him. We weren't really able to dissect and diagnose what was going back in the secondary because it's really hard without the all 22 to see how guys are covering. But you saw some miscommunication in the secondary and some bad tackling on a touchdown pass to Tank Dell. Again, preseason game, uglier than Charles Barkley's golf swing. Just keep that in perspective. This is an evaluation period. It is not meant to be the final look as to what it's going to see. And from you guys' comments, you guys know that. Again, you're listening to the new standard, the Steelers versus Texans preseason post-game breakdown. Hit us with a like and subscribe. Please share the program to all of your Steeler fans. Again, we're going to be bringing out programs on Wednesday, which is a pregame, and we're going to be doing a post-game show after the Sunday games. We'll be doing a post-game show after each preseason game. The last thing I wanted to focus on in this game was we wanted to look at Justin Fields. Wanted to look at him operating structure. And some of the things were, again, operating structure, play clean, keep the sticks moving, and protect the football. In terms of operating in structure, I think he did that. He made some throws, good completion percentage, but I think I have to illustrate this point. Accuracy is not a reflection of completing passes. Let me just say that. You can be very inaccurate and have a high completion percentage. It's two different things. I'll give you an example. On the pass to Van Jefferson, and I'm not trying to make a big point of this, the ball was inaccurate. If he had thrown a more accurate pass to the boundary and not to the inside of the field, that pass is completed. Because he threw that pass to the field, and these guys aren't robots, but that's a throw he would have to make to play clean and to constantly move the sticks. He has to make that throw. That throw has to be clean. It has to be on point. He has to throw that in the right place. Because of inaccurate ball placement, he made the catch. I don't think they gave Jefferson the catch. He made that play more difficult for Jefferson, and he put the ball in harm's way by throwing it to the inside of the field, which gave the cornerback an opportunity to make a play on it. So we got the full Justin experience. We got sacks. We got fumbles. I mean, we got it all. He made some really good throws. Like, we got the whole kit and caboodle. We got the whole thing. And as Warren Sharp said on Twitter, and Warren's a fantastic follow on X or on Twitter, that we got the full midseason Justin Fields experience. Great passes, drive-killing sacks, and multiple fumbled snaps. And to Lamar Wilder's point, big up Lamar, new listener to the program, Tomlin missed the challenge. And I'm glad you brought that up, because preseason is also a time for him to get on point and dot his I's and cross his T's. That's what it is as well. And even if the Steelers lose the challenge or win the challenge, to Lamar's point, not a very big deal, but I would have liked to see Mike Tomlin throw the challenge flag. Lord knows he's not good at challenging plays. That has not been one of his strengths. And so, again, preseason is a time for everybody to get on point. Let me jump into this comment from Friday 92. And a big up to you, Friday. New listener, love the background. And he said, hello, name seems from Polynesia as French with some mark of interest from a Polynesian triangle with Tahiti at the center. I spell it Fa Udatu new. Man, again, this is going to be an adventure. So right now it's Big Troy and Fatanu. NEW. Fatanu. Fa ha ha ha. Da ha 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 fa. Anyway, that's an old school hip hop song. Let me get you guys' thoughts. Speaking of that, what was you guys' thoughts on breaking if you watched breaking in the Olympics? I thought it was trash. I thought the announcers were trash. I thought the music was trash. And I thought the white girl from Australia breaking was absolute trash. I don't know what the hell she was doing. Like she was just gyrating on the ground trying. Anyway, but I think we all know that Justin Fields was not brought in to be the starter. Justin Fields is on a long evaluation. I think they are evaluating Justin Fields to see if he is a guy to be the 2025 quarterback. Both quarterbacks are on a long eval. One of the two will be your quarterback in 2025 because if not, they don't have any quarterbacks on the roster. So it's going to be one of these people. But I think this is why Justin Fields is not a starter for a team. Is you get, like Will Sharp or Warren Sharp said, you get the Justin Fields experiment. You get the variability is too high. I mean, you get highs and you get super highs and you get super lows. Being a great quarterback in the National Football League is about consistency. It's about making the plays. You got to take them layups, man. And then when you can sprinkle in a dunk, you do dunk. Or when you get to the free throw line, you hit your 2 free throws. But you got to make your layups as a quarterback. But before we get out of here, the last thing I wanted to talk about was, what is it called? The dynamic kickoff. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. I don't know what to think about the dynamic kickoff. I mean, anytime you see a visual graphic that turns a football field into a beach volleyball field, I don't know. When I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know. One thing I will say, the only positive thing about the dynamic kickoff from my perspective is it brings back the return game, which means guys have more opportunities to live out their dreams. It gives out a few more positions. Guys can actually compete to actually be returners. But I don't know. Looking at a football field with a big ass rectangle on it when they do the graphic and looking at nobody in that field, I just be like, yikes. I mean, guys are going to do the same thing in special teams, hold most of the time. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And it just looks funny. It just looks funny. I guess I got to get used to it. But again, before we get out of here, man, please like and subscribe to the program. Football is back. Overall game was pretty mixed, but that's what you expect in a first preseason game. Please respond to the show. Give me what you thought, your thoughts on the game, what you liked, who you're more excited to see moving forward. But again, football is back, baby. It's about renewal. And it's just great to have it back. We'll be in the season before you know it. And hopefully Russell Wilson can get some snaps in game 2. Want to see what the offense looks like with Russ. But with that, we're going to conclude the program. And as always, tune in, tell a friend, and subscribe. Go Steelers. It's back, baby.